We're learning new details from Green Bay fire officials late this afternoon about a fire at Lambeau Field that took place earlier today. A fire alarm triggered an evacuation this afternoon. Green Bay Metro fire crews dispatched to the stadium just after 2 o'clock. Lieutenant Shauna Walsh says smoke was found in a third locker room space that is separate from the main player or visiting team locker rooms. Walsh says a sprinkler system there put out the bulk of the fire, leaving firefighters a very small amount of work to do.
And they were just able to put out small parts of fire with fire extinguishers. So very small extinguishment and then just removing of smoke from the structure itself.
No injuries reported during this. Officials are investigating what caused that fire, which appeared to start in a small dumpster or collection of materials within that room.